The Philippines make their debut in the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship against Israel. A perfect 1-0 after beating Sweden yesterday. A look there at Justin Duhenio, who is the key for this Team Philippines. He will run the face-off dot and decide possession in this game.
Duhenio had a great campaign at Rutgers this past spring. He led with 52% wins, and they're going to need a strong showing from him if they're going to come up with a lot of contact with the ball on offense.
For Team Israel, their head coach Max Silberlich told us Nate Solomon is the alpha male on offense.
Nate Solomon, another player who had a stellar career at Syracuse University. He is an alpha on offense. Look for a lot of plays to run through him.
It'll be Duhenio and Ian Kedish at the face-off X to start things in Pool C. One of the most important games in Pool C play, as the winner of this game has the inside track to take on Puerto Rico in all likelihood for first place in the pool and a spot in the playoffs. For the loser of this game, things are a little more complicated, but by no means does that mean the tournament is over. It simply means there is a different and potentially higher mountain to climb.
6 matchups have been slated in all of the 2023 World Lacrosse Championships. This, in fact, being one of them, as you had mentioned. Puerto Rico, probably a favorite in Pool C. However, these two teams could battle it for second, maybe even challenge Puerto Rico in that title.
Israel in the blue is the 7th ranked team in the world. Rather, in the white, I should say. The Philippines in the blue is the 10th ranked team in the world. First possession belongs to Israel as it's scooped up by Matt Popek. The St. Joseph's product races in and drops it off. So Israel will work through their offense. Matt Balter has possession behind the net, works it over to Nate Solomon, who we highlighted just a moment ago as the alpha on offense. Had a nice opener against Sweden, one of 3 Israel players with multiple goals. For Solomon in particular, added an assist for 3 total points.
Some points of emphasis that Israel had in order to come up with a win today versus the Philippines offense. Making sure they're playing a lot of team ball, not any hero ball. Sharing it is what's key for them.
First save by Dan Morris. Loose ball violation, and the ball will belong to the Philippines. Morris played his college ball at Maryland. One of a handful of former ACC and high Division I level goaltenders scattered around the tournament. Matt DeLuca making some waves earlier today and yesterday for Team Italy. Obviously, the talent between Canada and the United States. But here we have the Philippines in just their 2nd appearance in the World Championships, coming off a 10th place finish 5 years ago in Netanya, Israel.
You know, I think that says a lot to be said for the growth in the Philippines. Each of these countries very proud of where they come from, but most importantly, it's about developing the game at the youth level.
Duhenio off the dodge. Closest player as the ball exits the field will retain possession for his team. In this case, it is Philippines ball. Justin Rodas working behind the net, defended by Griffin Spolansky. This Israel team did not have much of a challenge yesterday against Sweden. Raced out to a 5-1 lead and cruised down the stretch.
Now, I love their strategy when they talk about not allowing players in certain areas on the field. They said the scary area. That's that area around the crease where we've seen a lot of great goals, diving goals. Obviously, you can't cross that line until the ball has crossed the goal line, but nevertheless makes it exciting. But the scary area defensively.
And keep in mind, Israel trying to force Dodgers to the high outside corners away from the net. In this case, they take it away off Cody Swing's interception. And Balter wipes out in the process of trying to collect the ground ball. Wiley Sherman will direct traffic for Israel, get a touch into the box, and allow the 7th-ranked Israelis to get their substitutions on and settle this offense that had a great first half against Sweden.
That's right. Both of these teams, you can see that the emotions are high. They know a lot comes out of this game. hopefully getting a shot at Puerto Rico if Puerto Rico continues to stay at the top. But there's no shot clocks in international play, so you really need to take your time. There's no need to rush it. That was a lot of back and forth. I do expect for them to take a lot of air out of the ball at this point rather than rush to goal. Let everyone have a touch before you run your settled offense.
Flappin sweeping across the top. Now Kraft will take it back behind the net. Swing it to Robert Shane, another player highlighted by this coaching staff as particularly dangerous in their attack group. Shane probing, dodging from the wing. Crosses up, re-dodges. Good defense there by J.J. McKenna. McKenna on ball again. Shot takes a dead bounce. And a loose ball hold against Israel awards possession to the Philippines, who just put together a really nice defensive possession.
As you had mentioned, the ball dying on the ground is pretty spongy. Even though the turf is short, it does cause for a lot of slippages. But when you try a bounce shot or the ball hits the ground, it's not rolling very far, which that's something for the players to note. It's a beautiful field. However, you always have to recognize the bounces and where they're coming, especially as a goalkeeper.
And the Philippines coming off a 5-1 tournament back in 2018. Their only loss was to this Israel group, albeit with a different roster at that time. But some familiarity nonetheless between the returnees for both Israel and the Philippines as they meet here on day 2 of Pool C play. Opening game for the Philippines in blue. Second contest for Israel after beating Sweden decisively yesterday afternoon. Eugenio takes it behind the net. On the short stick, Kiddish feeds.
The quickness of Eugenio, he was able to create separation from his defensive player. What you want to do is get the defense shifting and moving, sliding, see what opportunities and creations can develop from that initial step.
Well, this is their primary creator, Mario Ventiquatro. His dad, Kirk, is the head coach. Played under him at Carthage High School in Syracuse, New York. If that name sounds familiar, it's where Mikey Powell played his high school ball. Eugenio hums it high and wide. And the near man is Justin Rodas as the Philippines hang on. Early action still trying to break the seal. The Philippines and Israel from the SDSU Sports Complex in sunny San Diego, California.
What I find interesting, international play, you have referees from all over the world. But most importantly, they all have the same general rules on par. They're calling the games tight. They work well as a group, and that's key when you have even match games, everything obviously keeping it fair. A lot of referees from all different countries.
Yeah, representing Australia, Canada, Belgium, the Haudenosaunee, and the USA here in our officiating crew.
Nice little eclectic group.
Absolutely. Tim Kennedy is the head official. He hails from Australia. Excited to watch his Sharks play tonight against Team USA. Racing behind the net, Rotatori. Kind of an under-the-radar player that this Israel coaching staff really likes quite a bit. Shane dodging from X. Hesitates, looking top side. Can he get his hands free? Bounces short of Popek's stick. And the Philippines will take over on another empty Israel possession.
A lot of the tight games that we've seen so far have been very low scoring, big defensive battles, defense forcing low angle shots, bad angles. You like to see it, although goals getting scored are a little bit exciting for the fans too.
Philippines in blue still trying to test former Maryland goalie Drew Morris between the pipes for Israel. They've had a couple looks, but yet to get one on cage. Dodging Anthony Brown. forcing the middle, and it's taken away by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick leading a fast break with plenty of numbers. Fitzpatrick to the cup, and he scores! Coast to coast for Ryan Fitzpatrick as Israel cracks the seal. It's 1-0.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, a close defender, plays for Amherst his collegiate career. As we watch him right here, his coaches had said that he is the best at getting the ball off the ground and out transitioning that ball to offense. But guess what? He can score goals too. Ryan Fitzpatrick putting the first goal on the board for Team Israel.
The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the only goal of the afternoon so far, as Israel out to a 1-0 lead just over halfway through the first quarter, as both of the defenses have stood tall thus far, but really I think the story is the offense is struggling to find a rhythm.
It can be hard when you have so much on the line. Both of these teams know how important this game is. I feel like they're forcing things a little bit, as we saw on that last offensive set that the Philippines had, and Israel taking advantage, picking off that pass for the little drawn dump and taking it coast to coast.
Dehenio and Kiddish face. And the Philippines in the blue uniforms with the white, the yellow sleeves, I should say, comes out of it. Israel wearing the white. A winner of this game in Pool C has the inside track to meet Puerto Rico for what will likely be a de facto Pool C championship game. Seventh-ranked Israel, 10th-ranked Philippines. Working it through X, Mario Ventiquatro. Once upon a time played college ball here in the U.S. at Ohio State. Hard dodge defended by Wiley Sherman. Looking to get top side, Ventiquatro. Good short stick defense by Sherman, who just finished a 5-year career at Hobart last year. But he's doing exactly what Israel wants to, push Dodgers to the high corners. Ventiquatro saved by Drew Morris. And now Sherman off the ground ball with some numbers, and Israel will pump the brakes and accelerate. Shane, kick save by Dan Morris. And now the Philippines turn things up. Garchitorena, or Garch as they call him, settles it down. One thing that will stand out today, the Philippines has one of the most robust supporter sections of any non-American nation in this tournament, partially because San Diego, California has one of the largest Filipino populations in the United States. So this is a huge opportunity for the Philippines as a developmental program to display something really inspirational to the younger generation of Filipino Americans here in attendance.
In talking with the coaches for the Philippines, they're most looking forward to having everyone involved understand what an opportunity this is to play the Creators game in the city of San Diego. They said the team is so eager to compete at this world stage.
Israel takes over. The one goal, Matt Fitzpatrick, or the Ryan Fitzpatrick, I should say, at about the 6:20 mark here in the opening quarter. Just over 3:45 left to play in the first. Around the perimeter, Neil Adrian Makalalid, who really got the Philippines crowd hyped up before face-off. A crowd favorite, to say the least. Now Chase Lidrito. Here's Duhenio. We'll see what he has against Kiddish. Gets top side. The slide comes, feeding for Nick Mitchell, who cannot handle the pass. And here's Fitzpatrick again, out leading transition. throws a face dodge. And Fitzpatrick has ideas about him. He scores again! To the gritty young man. A one-man show with a long stick down the field. Second of the game for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
A couple of hesitations down the field for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, tough defense. You look at that caused turnover. He's throwing lumber out there, and he's heading up the field. His eyes are up. He's looking to see who's available. But when he sees that the defensive players, they're leaning, giving him opportunity to take them on, he decides why not go to goal one more time, giving Israel 2 goals on the day. You see why he's one of the best, if not the best, for Team Israel, transitioning that ball from defense to offense. As soon as the ball crosses over that line, everyone becomes an attacker.
Yeah, making his coaching staff look prophetic.
Number 5, Ryan Fitzpatrick, unassisted.
Now Israel, off the face-off, can settle into their offense that has still been held scoreless by the Philippines. Their 2 goals coming in transition off the long pole of Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's an offense that erupted for 5 in the first against Sweden yesterday and averaged just under 14 goals a game in pool play 5 years ago in their home nation of Netanya, Israel. Flappin, or the Krevsky dodging, I should say, works his way behind X. Krevsky top sides, tucks it on the outside of the net. Rebound corralled by Nate Solomon and goes airborne, but steps in the crease and draws a penalty in the process. They send off John Tornabene in his 2nd Men's World Championship. And Israel will go to the man up for the first time today.
A big opportunity for Israel being a man up. They lead by 2 with a minute left. It's a lot of time, settled offense, where we can actually see the offense work right here.
Cross-check, 1 minute.
Quick little challenge to goal, got on the underside of his defensive player. So he was, it looked like, in the crease. However, on the backside, we couldn't quite see it on the camera. A foul was called, so an immediate penalty.
So Israel on the man up for the first time this afternoon. They spin it around the perimeter, trying to take a 3-goal lead in the opening quarter, now winding under a minute to play. Robert Shane initiating from up top. Pass forced into Balter, and now a loose ball scrum in front of the cage. And it sneaks its way past Morris. Jackson Appelt celebrating like he scored the goal. And we'll have to watch a replay to confirm that is in fact the case, because that came right out of the scrum and trickled its way over the goal line.
I was just about to say, this is very dangerous. Ground balls inside. You never know what to expect as a goalkeeper. And it does, in fact, look like that was Jackson Appelt. Had his collegiate career at Virginia, but able to come up with that possession, get rid of it quickly. Oh, so important so that the defense, especially the goalkeeper, isn't set and ready.
Yeah, Appelt, known as a Dodger. His head coach at Virginia, Lars Tiffany, once described him as being built like a Ferrari. But in this case, playing like a garbage man out in front of the net. So Israel converts the man-up opportunity into a goal. You get a peek at the Philippines there, now playing from a 3-goal hole. At the moment, the score still reads 2-0. The officials right now converging to decide whether or not the goal should stand. And it has officially been changed on the scoreboard. So 3-0 Israel after the tally by Jackson Appelt. And you know, Israel out to a lead, all things considered, have to be thrilled to be up 3-0 because they haven't generated much of anything in their settled offense.
It's been transitioning from the defensive end to the attack, and then that last one, just like you had mentioned, it was a really big junk goal. So defensively, the Philippines are playing well. It's just a matter of getting things settled onto the offensive end and then riding that ball better so you don't have any easy goals getting scored in transition.
Offensively for the Philippines, what can they do to try and shift the momentum? They only have 45 seconds left in the first, but nonetheless, a possession here potentially won by Justin Duhenio gives them an opportunity to take some momentum into the second.
You know, we've seen them running things from that top, that high elbow, and that's actually where Israel defense wants them to be. So I'd like to see them start to work from X, change where they're challenging from, and that's behind the goal.
Kadish and Duhenio. And the violation against the Philippines awards the ball to Israel with 35 seconds left. And they call a timeout to set up their offense and decide what to do. If you're just joining us, two top 10 teams in the world. 7th ranked Israel and the 10th ranked Philippines in what figures to be a game to decide who has the inside track in Pool C to take on Puerto Rico, who most people, I think, figure will be there at the end, potentially winning Pool C. But these two teams obviously would like something to say about that. This game matters a lot to both of them. For the Philippines, it's their opening contest.
You know, all three of those teams are clearly at the top of Pool C, but Philippines and Israel potentially battling for just that second spot or the chance to play Puerto Rico, who again we deem as the best thus far in Pool C. A lot rides on it, but it's a matter of calming down. We saw it last night in the game versus England and Australia. England came out to a quick 3-0 lead, and Australia just kept chipping away. They actually scored the next 8 goals. So it's just a matter of one goal at a time, relax, settle things down offensively, and once you get into the rhythm, things just happen to flow a little bit easier.
Dan Morris has caught some bad luck so far for the Philippines. Most recent goal by Appelt coming after a loose ball scrum in front of the goal. Seeing eyes into the back of the net. So Israel with 35 seconds to play in the first quarter. Work things through Shane at the top. Now it's Solomon. Throws a fake. Into the middle. Appelt gets it on net, and a stomach save by Morris. The Philippines gets it back, and now they have 25 seconds. Be a long run for Christian Janelle as they try and clear the ball out of danger. This is dangerous here. Morris gets away, and he'd be wise just to run to space with 1 second left. The opening 15 in the books here in the campus of San Diego State University, and Israel without a goal in the settled offense, but leading 3-0.
Highlighting Ryan Fitzpatrick, a defensive player who's making his offensive debut with his long pole. Love to see that transition. And then Jackson Appelt also getting on the scoreboard for Team Israel.
Start of the second here in Pool C play between the Philippines and Israel. And you're looking at the face-off X, which we figured would be a significant part of this game. Things not going the way the Philippines have wanted thus far.
The last time these two teams matched up, Israel had about 80% of the face-off. So they are looking to knock things off, make a change, and adjust. However, in order to do that, they've got to come up with possession, maybe throw a little change in there.
After the face-off win by Duhenio, they settle in and turn it over.
And that's what they've needed. That's why Duhenio being on the team they had talked about, it's oh so important. They do expect for this change to be a big one. We didn't necessarily see that in the first quarter, but there's still 3 quarters to go. And obviously, he won the first of the second.
This is an area Israel was really happy with in their win over Sweden, the clearing game. And once again, they get it across somewhat effortlessly as Matt Balter trots it into the box. Israel in white, the Philippines in blue. 2 top 10 teams in the world. Zach Paul, Wiley Sherman playing midi right now. For Israel, it's Robert Shane forcing his way to Shooter's Island and spinning it wide of the cage. 2 transition goals by long stick Ryan Fitzpatrick, followed by a little bit of a junker out in front of the net in the loose ball scrum by Jackson Appelt. It's 3-0 Israel as a result. They have yet to score in the settled offense. Here's Appelt, takes a shot in the back and draws a flag in the process. So Israel headed to the man up for the second time.
I think the fans even knew that that was a push from behind. This isn't where you want to be defensively. Philippines has done such a good job of being disciplined until the very end of that first quarter and to start this second quarter. You don't want to give up any easy goals. They've been playing so solid team defense.
Shane hums it, but the shot doesn't get through. Loose ball push against the Philippines. Israel retains possession. Solomon has been quiet thus far. He's their leader on offense. Feeding Appel, hits the post. They swing it around the near side with Krevsky. Shane back to Solomon. They're even at 6-on-6. The penalty expires. And now Israel will settle back into a 6-on-6-0. No shot clock, so no urgency as the clock ticks to 12:20 left in the first half. And they get Appel for a ward.
Israel generally likes to see their offense played with a lot of assist. They like to move the ball quickly. We haven't necessarily seen that in terms of their goals thus far. Generally, it's banging the ball, moving it around quickly, finding some cutters on the backside.
The Philippines still trying to crack the scoring column. Nearly 20 minutes into the game. Last time these two teams played in 2018, Israel won 11-8. Much lower scoring thus far as Duhenio dodges down the alley, works to X. 24 surveying. And probes his way back out to the wing, defended tightly by Fitzpatrick, who has the first 2 out of 3 goals for Israel. Veinticuatro moves it one more.
A lot of isolation dodges that we're seeing. Not necessarily a lot of movement off ball. Just makes it easier for the defense. See where the ball is coming from. Send the slides quickly.
Makalala reverses the ball. Yeah, Israel is not being forced into a lot of pressure situations. McKenna trying to work it to the backside for a look at Matt Special. And here's that man in transition again, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'll stay on and take a shift of offense with Solomon sweeping across. Fitzpatrick couldn't handle the feed. Had a great look in front of the cage, but the Philippines takes over instead.
I tell you, he's feeling that offense today. When you know you have it, you have it.
He's doing his best CJ Costabile impression today. Old Duke long pull, used to play a little bit of man up here and there for the Blue Devils. Scored one of the more memorable goals in NCAA championship recent memory.
You know, Israel, the coaching staff did talk about their offense, just the play overall that we've seen, kind of positionless. Everybody, you need to be able to put your hand at something different. You have to be versatile, especially in this game. 23 players on each roster.
Two-man game. Veinticuatro swings it to Brown. He pulls it out and leaves it for Ladrito, who will try his hand dodging at Rotatori.
This little wheel action that they have going on up top, looking to set some picks, work with it. I would like to see the ball move a bit quicker, make Israel have to play you, make them have to slide, and more than just an isolation type situation.
Griffin Rodas, one of 3 brothers on this team, feeding for Special. His shot deflected, and Israel controls Morris, quick to keep it from trickling into the crease. And now Israel has a chance to clear an area where they've been near flawless this afternoon.
I'm sorry, I like the patience that they've displayed. Obviously, we saw the game begin with a lot of back and forth. Israel's really seemed to become relaxed with the ball in their stick, pushing it when it's needed, a la Ryan Fitzpatrick, or slowing things down, realizing when they need to make some subs, make some changes. No need to rush. There's no shot clocks.
Solomon stripped from behind by Tornabene, and here he comes flying down the middle of the field. Tornabene galloping, running the break, and taken out from behind. But a timeout called by the Philippines prior to the takeaway check.
Timeout, Team Philippines.
An excellent ride by Nate Solomon as he was looking to get that ball back after he was stripped at the opposite end.
Israel 3, the Philippines nothing. Mid-second quarter here in San Diego.
Has this happened to you? You get roped in with phone offers that bind you to a 3-year device contract. Break free with T-Mobile, introducing Go 5G Plus, the first plan that always gives new and existing customers the same great device deals, and you're upgrade ready in 2 years versus 3. Right now, bring T-Mobile your phone and get the amazing iPhone 14 on us. Trapped. Free.
Get the amazing iPhone 14 on us.
Trapped. Free.
I will be a travel influencer. I will be a travel influencer.
Hey, I thought you were on vacation.
It's too expensive.
Use Priceline. They've got deals no one else has.
What about work?
I got you.
Love collaboration of this magnitude.
Of course. Oh.
Keep up the good work, you two.
Yes.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
All right, bring it in. Today is about BetRivers, basketball, and the big games.
Like our new live same-game parlays.
Where you can make multiple bets live on the same game for bigger payouts. And don't forget BetRivers Squares, you can win up to $10,000 bonus money.
Because you get a square at no extra cost when you make any qualifying bet.
It's the and one of betting. Yeah!
BetRivers and Squares. It's a whole new game.
Midway through the second, we apologize for technical difficulties here at the San Diego State University Sports Complex. Israel on top of the Philippines. Popek comes up with it. The Israelis clear it out, and a wide open Andrew Kruder leading a fast break. Kruder, left-handed shot, and it's saved. Off-stick hit by Dan Morris, and a big save for Team Philippines as they go to the clear.
Dan Morris, a product of former Terp. Both goalkeepers, a little interesting fact, both have the last name Morris. No, they are not brothers, and both played at the University of Maryland. One has a national championship.
Not even related. Though Israel has possession, just over 6 minutes to go in the first half, as you can see on your screen. We apologize for technical difficulties. Popek, with his long stick, hums a shot high and wide with no backup, as John Tornabene for the Philippines is the closest man to the ball as it exits. So the Philippines takes over, moving from right to left. Methodical on the clear through their goaltender, Dan Morris. 3-0 Israel on top of the Philippines as we approach halftime. Morris back to the near side of the field from Michael Garchitorena. He's directing traffic. Close defenseman flips it over the midfield line to Justin Hussey, the long stick midfielder. Trots the ball down the alley and into the box before dropping it off to Nick Mitchell. Back up top, just inside the midfield line, Griffin Rodas will settle things down for Team Philippines and move it to Chase Ladrito, top right corner, if you're the goaltender, Drew Morris for Israel. Now Justin Duhenio back up top, Griffin Rodas at the point. Chase Ladrito set to dodge from the bottom wing here. Still working to get our cameras back. We apologize for technical difficulties. Duhenio can't handle the feed from Ladrito as the ball trickles towards the sideline, where it ends up out of bounds and in possession of Israel. So they go to the clear. Popek to Kruder. Long crossfield pass as big Andrew Kruder out of Belmore, New York, will slow things at the top of the box and work it through his goaltender, Drew Morris. Morris slings it to Zachary Powell just out of the box, and Israel once again has cleared successfully with the clock inching towards 4 minutes to go in the first half. Israel up 3-0 despite having yet to score in the settled offense. 2 transition goals from a defender, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and 1 on kind of a junk play. Loose ball scrum in front of the goal as Jackson Appelt flung it into the net after picking the ball up. Here he is dodging down the near side alley, left to right. Swings it behind the net to Robert Shane. Dodge, Shane hums it wide of the net, trying to tuck it around his defender. Backed up, stays with Israel. It's Appelt who handles behind the net, defended by long stick Justin Hussey. Around the perimeter, now to the top right. Zach Powell dodging from the wing. Right-handed stick. Trots his way back and slings it over to Nate Solomon. Solomon, kind of their go-to guy on offense, has been quiet. Swim dodges, gets his hands free, and a stop by Morris. Powell collects the rebound and floats back out above the box, the top left corner. Israel's offense still being shut out despite leading 3-0. Morris, a kick save, denying Solomon again. Solomon gets it back and settles things through Shane at X. He goes right to a dodge at goal line extended, and another save for Morris. This time it's backed up by Israel and once again stays on this end. 2:42 to go. We apologize for technical difficulties. We are working to get our cameras back online. Israel leading the Philippines 3-0. Both the score and the time remaining are in fact correct. We hope you'll bear with us at this moment. Jackson Appelt in the deep bottom right corner behind goal line extended. Sets up to dodge. Now above GLE. Moves it to the point for Zach Powell. Powell now left side alley dodge. Spins, shoots, and trickles it wide, but draws a flag in the process.
Team Philippines penalty number 17, cross-check, 1 minute.
Angelo Austria sits down for 1 minute, and Israel goes to the man up for the third time. They're 1 for 2 in the extra man so far this afternoon. They have 1:45 left in the first half, and will spend half of that on the man up opportunity. Loose ball scrum. Coming out of it, Robert Shane for Israel. He trots it back towards top center and will reinitiate the man-up offense for Israel, who leads 3-0. Nate Solomon throws a fake, reverses field back towards Shane. Now it's Solomon on a step down. He backpedals his way before an underhand flip to Appelt. He swings one more for Shane. An underhand pass and a beauty of a goal. Joey Kraft off the low-to-high feed from the top right corner of the offense to goal line extended on the doorstep. 4-0 Israel, and they don't get any prettier than that. So Israel converts on the man up for the second time in 3 attempts, and Courtney just a beautiful feed to find Kraft on the doorstep.
They want to keep players as tight to that crease as they can, and they found a wide open Kraft right around the cage. Love the vision that we see in that last play. And now this is exactly what the Philippines need to get possession. They need some offensive possession, get that ball moving, and get themselves on the board before the end of the first half.
Timeout call by Team Philippines. We thank you for bearing with us through technical difficulties. Your eyeballs do not deceive you. We have picture once again. And Team Philippines in blue talks things over with 22.4 seconds remaining until halftime, as they've been shut out. This Israel defense has given them nothing, and a big piece of that, Philippines has played right into their game plan.
They have challenging from up top, right from the high elbows. Every time they've gotten the ball at X, which is behind the goal cage, they've had a little bit of a success getting the defense to have to turn their head. It has to be on a swivel. You get your goalie having to change his position, but then they kind of go back to their comfort zone, which is to challenge from the top. Not necessarily ideal for them in order to break this defense down.
Well, we were good to go for a moment, but unfortunately the technical difficulties have returned like an unwanted cold. And we will have to trot this ahead with 22.5 seconds until halftime. Cooper Perkins, Courtney Connor Martinez, we thank you for joining us on your Friday afternoon for Pool C action between the 7th-ranked team in the world, Israel, and the 10th-ranked team from the Philippines. Both teams with aspirations of winning their pool. You see the Philippines there in blue. They will have possession. You see Mario Ventiquatro, kind of their go-to man on offense and primary initiator. He will take possession. Have to think he's looking to feed.
Looking to feed. However, we have seen a lot of dodging, a lot of clearing space. Kind of looks like a little bit of what they're set up for yet again.
Ventiquatro trying to do anything to get the Philippines on the board and do it before halftime. He's defended by Fitzpatrick. Ventiquatro hesitates. One-hand cradle. Can't get his shot away. And that is how the first half will expire. Israel leads 4-0 at halftime. You're watching the 2023 Men's World Championships on ESPN. Through one half, Israel pitching a shutout in Pool C play against the Philippines. Courtney Connor Martinez, Cooper Perkins. The defenses have stood out. Israel's absolutely suffocating thus far. It's allowed them to kind of meander through their offense rather than coming out hot.
It's certainly a way to get your offense involved when your defenders are breaking out, causing turnovers, and using their legs to show some speed in the open field. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he didn't do it just one time, and he did it a second time. First time with an interception, second time with a nice check. Looked like he was going to slow things down a little bit, but instead he's like, wait a second, I got this. Watch out. He went in for goal number 2 for Team Israel, and that really put them on the mark. It broke the seal. They were starting some score, getting a little bit of gritty action in, and then inside, a junk goal. Jackson Appelt, as soon as his eyes were up, he got the ball, he sighted the cage, oh so important. And then the last goal, we don't have for you, but that was more of a team goal offensively for Israel, which is what they're looking for. They like to have assisted goals.
If you're the Philippines, second half coming up, you need to do anything to jumpstart your offense. Whose responsibility is it to get that unit going?
You look at players who are offensive weapons like Mario Ventiquatro, Jonathan Eugenio, McKenna, JJ McKenna, all three of them. I think we've seen a lot of that isolation dodge set up for a nice big run, and maybe if he gets a slide going, he'd dump it inside. I think they got to work a little bit more of the two-man game and just change where they're attacking from.
So Israel, 2 goals from Ryan Fitzpatrick, 1 from Jackson Appelt, 1 from Joey Kraft. Their goaltender, Drew Morris, hasn't been busy, but also has been perfect. On the other side, Dan Morris, confusing. The Morrises, not related, both products of the University of Maryland here in the U.S. Dan Morris, though, has stood on his head at times to keep the Philippines in this game and really stuffed some seriously good opportunities for Israel.
He's done a great job. You know, he's played in big game situations before, national championships, PLL professional games, also won a championship there. I think when you have just an experienced keeper in the back, played in the 18 Worlds, was a part of that one of 15, the Fighting 15 in the Philippines when they qualified for World Championships. There were just 15 players on that roster, 4 of them being directly from the Philippines. So I think he's been in a lot of big-time situations before, which you got to have. He's keeping the game tight, which is key.
The face-off battle is a key to this game, particularly for the Philippines. Being able to win face-offs at a rate better than 20% is what they said. Anything above 20% is successful to them because of how lopsided the face-off battle was when these two teams met in 2018. They've been far better than 20%, but it hasn't translated to offense yet.
Hasn't translated just because the offense is a little bit stagnant. Definitely doing their job at the face-off. I think they could get a couple more. A few times they'd gotten the face-off and then lost it immediately as they were transitioning that ball from one end to the other. But we see they're changing their point of attack already, and that is going to be a big factor.
Kirk Ventiquatro, the head coach, making adjustments as Jonathan Duhenio inverts behind the net, shoots and whistles it wide on the near side. Duhenio, still in college, just finished up at Rutgers this spring. 52.5% for the Scarlet Knights at the face-off dot, but does a little bit more than that for Team Philippines. He's one of their top-line middies and plays both ways. Nick Mitchell dodging from behind the net.
I love the fact they call him the Swiss Army knife. At first it took a second, but then I realized all the different things that a Swiss Army knife can do. Take the face-off, run both sides of the ball. Makes a lot of sense. Good analogy.
That is exactly what Jonathan Eugenio is. A Swiss Army knife. J.J. McKenna looking for help, finds Ventiquatro, and his shot lofts over the crossbar. The Philippines, though, creating more offense in this one possession than they did the entire first half.
We saw that ball movement, we saw that dodge, the initiation, and then they moved it quickly, which that's how they're gonna find success. You gotta involve everyone, all 6 of those players out on that field.
Makalalad sets to dodge. Yeah, one notable adjustment, Mario Ventiquatro was on ball nearly all of the first half. He has yet to touch the ball outside of the lone feed a moment ago. Using him as an off-ball player is a very interesting choice given his skill set as a creator. Duhenio zips it wide. The Philippines applying some pressure, trying to break through. 2.5 minutes into the third quarter.
You know, I think anytime you can dodge one of the short stick defensive midfielders as opposed to a pull, generally can find more success on that. Get their heads moving.
McKenna off the ground ball, gets clamped by Popek, who takes it away. Still loose. Duhenio in an unsettled spot now as he has it stripped. Duhenio surveys, dunks and scores. The Philippines cracks the seal.
Number 13 in blue, Duhenio, putting the first goal on the board for the Philippines. There was a big ground ball mix-up, one player the next. They're all going for it. he was in hot pursuit by an Israeli defender. As he came around that crease, it almost looked like his eyes were up. He was going to potentially move that ball, but no slide was coming. He realized he was the one with the shot. Very heads-up play as he changed that level coming around the crease.
And now the Philippines controls the face-off. A chance
Team
to
Philippines
build on
goal
their
for
last
number
offensive
13,
possession,
Jonathan Duhenio.
where they peppered the net and created a series of good looks before Duhenio finally scored in the unsettled opportunity. Philippines playing from down by 4 just a moment ago. A chance to cut that deficit to just 2.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a fortune teller, but I will just say he went around the crease, which is where I said they should be attacking from. But it was a broken play, so I can't take a ton
take
of
your credit. If you called the future, you called the future. It's as simple as that. Rodas dodging. Works it back to the behind the net for 24. Now Mitchell plays a 2-man game with Rodas, and Rodas goes down hard, drawing a penalty flag. So the Philippines will have their first man-up opportunity. Good to see Rodas to his feet, albeit gingerly moving his way towards the sideline.
The defenders are chopping a lot of lumber out there. Looked like he may have just gotten the wind knocked out of him off of that pick that was set. Defensive player bumping into him.
A little bit of lower body contact there as well between himself and the defender. But nonetheless, a huge opportunity for the Philippines as they have their first man up of the game.
Penalty, Team Israel, number 33, 1 minute, unnecessary roughness.
Cody Swing will sit down for the unnecessary roughness penalty. A man up a minute or less to the Philippines score. It will be released. 24, they start to rotate. 24 steps in, and a stop by Morris. But he gives it right back. 24 comes up with it, and an unsettled opportunity. Step down, McKenna behind the back feed. Mitchell stuffed by Morris. Correction, that's Eric Schneider now in the net as Israel has made a change at halftime. Off the bench and making a series of big saves for Israel in white. Israel could kill off the rest of the penalty as we return to even strength. Just 1 goal in the settled offense for Israel. Try to run a little hidden ball trick with Krevsky. Now Kraft, who had their final goal of the first half off a beautiful feed, underhanded from the high point by Robert Shane as he found Kraft right on the doorstep for a slam dunk. Appelt directing traffic, goes into his dodge right at Janelle, the short stick defender. Shoots, and a kick save for Morris, who continues to stand tall for the Philippines. He has kept them in the game today. But a mistake, and Israel, with the ever-dangerous Ryan Fitzpatrick leading the charge, will now slow things down. The whole stadium comes to life when Fitzpatrick crosses the midfield line.
It's amazing. He's able to come up with these balls. It kind of looks easy, but being a vacuum on the defensive end of the field can be quite difficult when you have attackers swinging at you, riding, but he transitions it well. He's very patient, smart with the ball in his stick. Doesn't want to rush things if it's not there, and knows when his time is up.
Israel initiates through Appel. Again, dodging on the shorty. Ball to reversing for Krevsky. Down the alley, Krevsky just finished up his sophomore year at Yale. Now Appel at the wing, under 7 to go in the third quarter. Israel up 4-1. Shane probing. Physical, tough defense by Garcha Terena. And Shane's pass goes skipping towards Solomon and up to the midfield line where Solomon retrieves.
A little bit of pressure created Israel bobbling that ball. So excellent that they tracked back, followed him all the way to the sideline. You got to give credit where credit is due. Philippines defense, but namely Morris, has been doing outstanding.
Both of the Morrises have been excellent, but it's Eric Schneider off the bench for Israel in the second half with a couple of big saves to keep Israel up by 3. 4-1 mid-third quarter. You're watching the 2023 Men's Lacrosse World Championships. Rady Children's Hospital is the presenting sponsor of the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship. It's the largest children's hospital on the West Coast and ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. .6:32 to go in quarter number 3, and Israel with a 3-goal lead. And they've done it despite their offense being quiet. The Philippines, though, finally coming to life. Shot bounces wide from Tornabene, and Mitchell will go to retrieve it. Just the one Eugenio goal for the Philippines came after halftime. And another takeaway for Team Israel.
Once again, the stingy defenses on each team, keeping this game very tight, low scoring. You really have to move the ball quickly, challenge them in order to get any good looks at Cage, or you could do it in transition if you're Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You know, I think this spot sets up perfectly for the Philippines from an identity standpoint. They told us this week just how much they've built everything around fighting. That's how they see themselves. Comes back to their head coach, Kirk Vantaquattro, diagnosed with stage 4 cancer more than a decade ago and has fought his way through that process. They've taken on his identity, and they have to fight from behind today. Robert Shane dodging. Step down. Pow! Off the feed from Shane, it's 5-1 Israel.
There's a little bit more of that ball movement. Israel getting everyone involved down and around the crease. He's looking to challenge, take his defensive player on. But Robert Shane, he had his eyes up. He likes to work from X. Howell with the cut. The finish, putting goal number 5 on the board for Israel. But back to, you had talked about the Philippines, the identities of each of these teams. They're all very much about family. They're really strong in their own cultures.
Eugenio, a clean face-off win, and the Philippines
Team Israel goal
will settle
by
into
number
possession.
1, Zachary Paul.
Paul, his first of the tournament,
30,
has plenty of
Robert
international
Shane.
experience. Played on the 2018 team 5 years ago. Also a part of a couple of Men World Championships in the box game. Eugenio has it taken away, and Spalansky, the former Virginia Cavalier, comes trotting across the half line. The winner has the inside track in Pool C to challenge Puerto Rico, who is 1-0 after their win over the Czech Republic yesterday. Israel beat Sweden whereas the Philippines is making their debut. They play 4 games in 4 days after having their day off on the unofficial opening day. Of course, the opener a couple nights ago in Canada and the U.S. squared off at Snapdragon Stadium, but yesterday the first full day of games. Appel dodging hard, feeding the middle. Shane kick save Morris. Can't say enough about the job Dan Morris has done between the pipes, keeping the Philippines in this game.
Love the excitement of the Philippines fans. They probably have some of the largest numbers that I've seen here in the stands.
Yeah, that's a big part of their mission for this World Championship tournament, connecting with the Filipino-American population native to San Diego. Not just kids back home in the Philippines, where obviously they want to inspire and continue growing the game beyond just their base in Manila. Flag comes in. Mitchell submarines one wide, and a man-up opportunity coming for the Philippines.
You know, when you think back that they started the Philippine national team in 2013, just a group of Filipinos who love lacrosse came together, and then fast forward to today. Of course, they still love lacrosse, but they consider themselves a family that introduces, develops, and just grows the game for the Filipino community.
30-second man-up opportunity for the Philippines in blue. Trying to cut into their 5-1 deficit after the last goal by Zach Paul. And Fitzpatrick, who has been everywhere today, takes it away. And Israel, with a successful clear, can kill off the rest of the penalty.
That was J.J. McKenna who coughed up that ball. He's actually a really big offensive threat for the Philippine team. A little bit surprising. Player up situation, your man up. Defense is playing an area zone, not necessarily a particular person. So again, the defense that Israel is displaying today, only allowing 1 goal and continuing to cause turnovers even when they're a man down.
I mean, Israel playing good defense is not a revelation of any variety. They do give it away on the clear for the first time today. But 5 years ago, they held opponents to 6 goals a game for the tournament, 4 goals a game in pool play. So this is simply picking up where they've left off, establishing a really good defensive culture. The Philippines trying to take advantage of the gift with 30 seconds left in the third. Late man on is Special. Look for them to go at about 10 seconds. Rodas set to dodge. Rodas shoots and scores! Fire up the fans! Griffin Rodas from way downtown.
Number 6 in blue, Griffin Rodas. He is the oldest of the 3 Rodas brothers on the team. A midfielder. He and the entire Filipino fan section counting down the clock. A little bit of a disadvantage that they don't have a clock at the opposite end. Did a nice little rollback, shooting as soon as he turned. And that's a spark for the team. That's all you need. One little electric moment, and to build off of that going into that 4th quarter.
So the Philippines will take the momentum into the 4th, but Israel will carry a 3-goal lead into the final 15. Bouncers will go. Griffin Rodas proves it once again. You're watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championships live from San Diego, California.
At the end of the 3rd quarter, your score is Team Israel and fireworks. All in a world you need to rediscover. SeaWorld San Diego. Real amazing.
The Philippines were shut out in the first half, but come to life in the 3rd quarter and take the momentum into the 4th.
this big matchup between Team Israel and the Philippines. It was all Philippines as they went 2-1 in terms of scoring. First, Eugenio getting them on the board, and then a last-minute goal by Griffin Rodas. They are feeling some life leading into this fourth quarter. Not just excitement on the field, but excitement in the stands.
And Kiddish goes early, and you see the impact that just Jonathan Eugenio is having, that now into the head of Kiddish a little bit as he goes early.
And that's a big benefit to the Filipino team. Anytime you can get that first face-off means a lot. You feel a little bit more confident, and just as you had mentioned, you can feel the shift happening in the stands, and you feel it as a player. You want to try and stop that run, and guarantee Israel had a quick little talk about what they need to do adjustment-wise, because that's the first quarter that the Philippines have won this entire game.
Philippines didn't score the entire first half. Ventiquatro, their lead initiator, has been quiet offensively. One of the big adjustments at halftime was moving him off ball. We've seen a lot less ball handling by Mario Ventiquatro, but now directing traffic and set to dodge from X, a former Ohio State Buckeye. Defended by a short stick, and lost possession as Fitzpatrick comes on the slide. The winner of this game has the inside track for a showdown with Puerto Rico to win the pool. Eugenio zips it wide. For Israel, if they win, they'll be 2-0 with their next game on Sunday against Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, the Philippines, if they can come from behind, will be back in action tomorrow, also against Puerto Rico. Eugenio roll dodge. Eugenio skips it outside.
I like those quick rollbacks and a quick release. Again, they're looking to catch the new goalkeeper. It's how they scored the last goal of that third quarter. But Eric Schneider, want to catch him not quite ready in goal, challenge him a little bit more.
Schneider did make a couple of nice saves in the third quarter after coming off the bench. There is nothing wrong with Drew Morris, but this Israel team does rotate their two goalies. They want to reward both of them, particularly Schneider's work with. And what a sting by J.J. McKenna. Somersaults his way to a 5-3 game.
Number 25 in blue for the Philippines, J.J. McKenna. He has one of the best shots on the team. Nice little split move right there. Roll right out of it. We see tough defense by Israel, but he just powered through it. They said he's a big fella, and he just used his size, his strength to out-dodge the defense right there.
And with that goal, Israel makes a swap. Drew Morris back in. Face-off win for Israel, flying in from Rotatori, but they give it away. And Garchitorena, before he can get loose, sees a flag come in, and it will be against the Philippines.
Team Philippines goal, scored by number 25, J.J. McKenna.
So after McKenna's goal makes it a 3-1 Philippines run, Israel gets a chance to answer on the man up. They've gone 2 for 3 on the extra man so far today. And you have to think Robert Shane, the point man, is going to be directing things. His passing has been sublime at times for Israel. Solomon and Shane up top. Krevsky, Shane, couple of fakes over to Solomon.
Little Spinderella action on that last one.
Shane fakes the shot. Solomon trots his way into the middle. He throws a fake. Now Shane, step down, rips it home! The UPenn product has the answer for Italy, or Israel, I should say, and it's 6-3.
Shane generally likes to find his home behind the cage, but he's inverted right here, all the way at the top. He has a lot of time, room, space. They didn't close that gap too quickly. Because he has such a quality shot, a lot of speed, accuracy, decided to take that one very smart. Again, doubling the lead one more time for Israel as they lead by 3.
That's a big goal for Israel.
Because we felt the shift.
Now Duhenio leading the break. Mitchell hits the post! Morris gets help from his little orange friends, and Israel wiggles out of a jam that was created by Duhenio's dominance at the faceoff X.
Assisted by number 11, Nathaniel Solomon.
Not even inches from his second goal of the game. And Israel trying to settle their offense down and get their personnel on the field. Silberlicht handles. Into the middle. Balter. He scores! Back to back for Israel. And they're back in control.
Another one of the dangerous offensive weapons for Team Israel. Balter. His collegiate days were played at UMass Lowell. But as we take a look back on how things were set up, the good old crossbar, goalkeeper's best friend. That's what gave Team Israel possession of the ball. Fast break to the opposite end of the field. They had some numbers. Ultimately, Matthew Balter, one of their forwards, as they call the attackman, had a nice open lane.
Sherman to Balter. Israel takes control of this one in the 4th. Wiley Sherman, shot out of a cannon. It's 8-3.
Look at the speed in the open field.
TV timeout.
Nice protection.
Media timeout.
Hard towards the cage, and Morris did not even move on that one. Very difficult to handle. 3 quick goals for Team Israel as they have fired back here in the 4th quarter.
Israel in control halfway through the 4th in San Diego. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Israel has taken control with 3 straight goals, and it's 8-3. Cooper Perkins, Courtney Martinez-Connor. Right as the Philippines started to pick up things and build their momentum, Israel comes right back with a response and grabs the game back.
For lack of better terms, it's the whole lacrosse is a game of runs, and you want to try and stop your opponent as quickly as possible. Israel did just that. I will say, having a man-up opportunity certainly helped.
Goal number 4, Wiley Sherman.
I think if you told the Philippines coaching staff that they'd have this much success at the face-off dot, they'd feel a little bit better about the score. They wanted anything better than about 20%. Duhenio tries to bounce a turnaround and takes it away. Duhenio! And it is the goalie, Morris.
That was another key move for the coaching staff of Israel. Putting Morris back in goal. Again, it's just another little spark. There were some big saves early on for Eric Schneider. But defensively, after a few goals are quickly scored, you just got to make a change.
Morris has been perfect. Literally has not given up a goal today. Threw a shutout in the first half, and since coming on after the third Philippines goal, has been perfect the rest of the way. I mean, you can't ask for more. Quite literally, he has done everything you possibly could hope for.
Plus, he's giving us the battle of the Morrises back in goal.
Obviously, that's more fun for us. Both with the surname Morris, both having played collegiately here in the U.S. at Maryland, neither related to the other. Solomon mishandles for a moment. Backside, Balter, one-timer! He's in the crease, it will not count, but a beauty of a pass from Solomon to Balter, cutting to the goal mouth.
But that's the kind of offense that Israel wants to run. A motion, a movement, letting the ball do the work. Those players off ball, cutting, moving as well. That was beautiful, minus the crease.
The Philippines gets away with one, and now with the clock drifting under 6 minutes, have to go in a hurry. Timeout awarded to the Philippines prior to the turnover, so they will hang on to possession, trailing 8-3. Well, it didn't count, but what a pass from Nathaniel Solomon to find a cutting Matthew Balter. Both feet in the crease, pretty clear that's the correct call, but what would have otherwise been a beauty of a goal for Team Israel.
A nice little alley-oop for our basketball fans.
Timeout, Team Philippines.
The parallels certainly exist between the two sports. Well, Israel trying to move to 2-0 in pool play after dominating Sweden yesterday. They'll play Puerto Rico on Sunday and then wrap pool play against the Czech Republic on Monday. For the Philippines, this is their opener. They'll play Puerto Rico tomorrow, then the Czech Republic on Sunday, and finally conclude with Sweden on Monday. Pool standings have Israel and Puerto Rico tied at the top at 1-0. Obviously, the Philippines with no record to report, sandwiched in the middle between those two unbeatens and the two winless teams, the Czech Republic and Sweden. Israel built an early lead despite struggling on offense, but finally their sticks have come to life in the second half. Robert Shane, who just scored there, has been a big piece today.
And then Balter took things over as he was in transition, and then they added one more goal in transition. The transition game has definitely been key today for Team Israel. They've capitalized straight from the defensive end to the offensive end. Wiley Sherman celebrating there. 8-3 is the current score, but again, it's felt much closer than that as it's been back and forth throughout the day. Again, a lot of stellar defense and goalie saves. And then a lot of defense translating to offense, which is always exciting.
Philippines with possession, under 6 minutes remaining in regulation, and quite a bit of work to do, trailing by 5. Long pass, high shot, Eugenio, just letting anything fly at this point. Special working from behind the goal. Ventiquatro to a cutter in front. Loose ball push on Israel, stays with the Philippines. And the Philippines gets one back. Mario Ventiquatro.
Number 24 in blue, Mario Ventiquatro looks like he caught the defense sleeping a little bit right off of the restart. This is a player who can fill it up offensively. He just wound up and immediately was ready to shoot. Super dangerous offensively. soon as he got possession, he noticed nobody's honoring him. Ball's in your stick, first look is always to go to goal. Mario closing the gap a little bit more.
Duhenio off the face-off win. Duhenio stopped by Morris. A big save for Israel. The perfect game came to an end moments ago for Drew Morris, but he gets right back into the save column, robbing Jonathan Duhenio. We saw just 7 total goals in the first 3 quarters. We've already seen 5 in the 4th. The game coming to life down the stretch here at the SDSU Sports Complex. Israel will try and take care of possession and eat some of the clock, which is very much an ally now. You're the Philippines, you've got 2 opponents, the guys in white and the numbers up on the scoreboard. But they get a break on a takeaway. Out of bounds, Israel, so the Philippines will now head to the man up. Flag on the far side of the field. Garza Torreira. Makalalit, originally from Portland, plays in the MCLA at Oregon State. He dodges behind the net, under 3 to play. Now Mitchell, dodging it, Kruder. Sets up, squares his shoulders. Feeds, Rodas has it bounce wide. And with that, the Philippines will head to the man up. But first, we'll have a timeout on the field. The Philippines putting some pressure on, but we can't say enough about what Drew Morris has done between the pipes. That last save, robbing Jonathan Duhenio, completely changes the flow of this game. Either you're looking at the Philippines back within 3, dominating the face-off X, or as it is right now, Israel by 4, a chance with 2.5 minutes to kill some clock should they get the ball back. Just goes to show how valuable a quality goaltender can be.
Quality goaltenders, and to have 2 at that, with international experience, top NCAA experience. But when you can interchange, they're both incredibly important. But to be able to trust somebody to go back into the goal, that's huge. And we see a big save right here. I think off of that restart, he wasn't quite ready. The defense wasn't ready, so that was a little bit of a gimme. But he's feeling confident back in goal, which can be tough. Tough to do, to hop back in after you kind of cooled down a little bit. He hasn't showed any signs of slowing.
Max Silberlich, the head coach of Israel, has every reason to be confident in his goaltender number 1, Drew Morris. Only made 2 saves in their opener against Sweden. They only gave up 5 total shots on goal, but has been much busier today and has frustrated this Philippines team that was held scoreless the entire first half. 3 of their 4 goals came after Eric Schneider entered the game. And now they've gone back to Morris, who continues his high level of play. But a man-up opportunity for the Philippines and a chance to cut back within 3. Duhenio rotating. 24 at the point. Duhenio a step down.
You can just see Drew Morris's passion. After each shot, each save, he's clapping it up to the defense. He knows that there's 6 players in front of him. It all just doesn't rest on his shoulders.
The sense of urgency picking up for the Philippines. Under 2 to play. Mitchell floating away from pressure. Looking for help. Finds it from Rodas, back to Mitchell. Makalalit with a flag on the field. That will be another penalty on Israel. A slash 1-minute penalty. Back to the man up for the Philippines, where they've gone 0 for 4 today. Kind of the story for them is missed opportunities.
Team Israel penalty / 1 minute.
24 feeds. McKenna gets mauled and draws another penalty. So a 6-on-4 here for the Philippines with 85 seconds left, trailing by 4. Keep in mind, the face-off battle has started to tilt in their favor as Duhenio has made adjustments. Hits the outside of the net from Mitchell, and Israel, with a successful clear, down 2 players, mind you, can wind this one down.
Might have been a little bit rushed there on that offensive shot. Nevertheless, it is in control of Israel. If they can just play keep away, because there are no shot clocks. They are 2 players down, as you had mentioned. Just a little bit surprised that a double team isn't at least being sent to the ball carrier.
Israel just trying to run it out, under 30 seconds left. They led 4-0 at halftime, and then in the second half saw the Philippines come to life. And a turnover gives it back to the Philippines with just a few ticks left to work. Can they get one more for good measure? Christian Janelle. And they will take a timeout.
Timeout, Team Philippines.
Looking at these 2 teams, Courtney, as they navigate the rest of pool play, where do you see them going? What adjustments do you see the Philippines making from this loss? How do you think Israel stacks up against Puerto Rico? There's still a lot to be decided for both of them, given how wide open the division is between those top 3.
You know, the Philippines executing on offense is going to be key. How to generate goals, create separation, get everyone involved, and then continue to do their job at the face-off. They need to get as many possessions as possible. For Israel, it's about being consistent. Consistent offensively. When they move the ball well, they tend to generate more offense, but the transition game is working for them too. So to continue playing some solid defense, team defense, great saves. You have Morris, obviously you have another great keeper in his backup, but they're more about the entire overall play. This is the closest knit team that Team Israel has ever had, and the coaching staff said that's going to be a huge advantage for them.
A lot of that comes back to how their roster was constructed. The overwhelming majority of these Team Israel players either live or have lived in Israel at some point. A lot of them are actively involved in Israel lacrosse, some of them on a full-time basis. They're a fairly young organization, and only with 300 to 400 kids domestically in Israel playing lacrosse. But from a structural standpoint, they've built an institution that may be young, but is burgeoning with growth.
When you look at their under-20 team, who's going to be headed, or who did head to Limerick World Championships, 19 out of the 23 born in Israel. That says a lot.
And with that, the clock hits 000. Israel withstands the Philippines to move to 2-0 in Pool C play. Meanwhile, the Philippines drops to 0-1 after their opening game here at the San Diego State University Sports Complex. We'll have final thoughts coming up in just a moment. You're watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championships.
Has this happened to you? You get roped in with phone offers that bind you to a 3-year device contract. Break free with T-Mobile, introducing Go 5G Plus, the first plan that always gives new and existing customers the same great device deals.
And you're upgrade ready in 2 years versus 3.
Right now, bring T-Mobile your phone and get the amazing iPhone 14 on us. Trapped. Free.
Get the amazing iPhone 14 on us.
Trapped. Free.
Hey, heading on a family trip?
Nah, Sorry, son. Prices are crazy. We're going to have to skip it this year.
Aw. Well, use Priceline. They have package deals no one else has.
5 pools. Water slide. We can do it.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Final score in San Diego. The 7th ranked team Israel beats number 10, the Philippines, 8-4, thanks to a 3-goal run in the second half to put things away. Cooper Perkins, Courtney Martinez-Connor, shout out to our fantastic crew on hand. We thank you for bearing with us. There's some technical difficulties at times. Courtney, final thoughts on what you just saw today?
You know, I thought we saw some great defensive efforts out on the field, and two teams who are battling it out. They knew a lot rode on this game. They gave it their best effort, but we have not seen the last of them. Transitioning from offense to defense was huge for Team Israel, as well as coming up with some big saves from Paige, Morris, but then we had some life from the Philippines. They are they want to be considered a blue-collar team who plays fast and smart. A lot of newcomers, as well as some returners, so expect some big things for them.
The two goalies were both fantastic. Dan Morris, 10 saves officially. Drew Morris nearly threw a shutout. One final time, the final score, Israel 8, Philippines 4. We hope you'll stick with us for the rest of today's coverage of the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championships. For Cooper Perkins and Courtney Martinez-Connor, signing off saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.